The IRGC claims its missiles and drones struck U.S. military facilities in Bahrain during the latest wave of attacks. Iran says the strikes left parts of U.S. military infrastructure in Bahrain burning after direct impacts. The IRGC claims Iranian forces destroyed 2 strategic radar systems inside neighboring Oman. Iran says a long-range FPS air surveillance radar and a surface detection radar were knocked out in the attack. Tehran signals that U.S. military support networks across the Gulf are now within Iran's expanding target list. The IRGC says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until U.S. military operations against Iran come to an end. Tehran turns the Strait of Hormuz into a strategic bargaining chip as the Gulf conflict continues to deepen. IRGC said, and I quote, "The facilities and infrastructure of the U.S. aggressor army in Bahrain, the FPS long-range aerial radar and the surface detection radar were destroyed in the Kingdom of Oman. Your zealous children in the epic-creating IRGC Navy, in addition to targeting the facilities and infrastructure of the U.S. aggressor army in Jafir, Bahrain, whose high fires are burning with missile and drone strikes in the 5th stage of countermeasures, targeted and destroyed the FPS long-range air radar and the surface detection radar in the Kingdom of Oman. The only way to open the Strait of Hormuz for the traffic of vessels is to end the intervention of the U.S. military in this strait, and to respect the sovereignty of countries over their own coastal waters. The continuation of these interventions will lead to bigger incidents in the oil and gas field of the world." Unquote. Mujtaba's Iran is accused of expanding its retaliation after reports of a fire at a US-linked business headquarters in Bahrain. Iran's campaign reportedly takes a new turn as a US-linked commercial office in Bahrain is said to catch fire. Tasnim reports a blaze at a US-linked business site in Bahrain amid Iran's expanding retaliatory campaign. Bahrain emerges as a new flashpoint as the US-Iran conflict spreads across the Gulf region. New reports suggest Iran may be widening its target list beyond military installations and strategic facilities. Iran says its army launched a fresh wave of drone strikes targeting US military bases in Kuwait. Tehran claims US missile systems, bunkers, and military support facilities were targeted in the latest operation. Iran says its drones struck American defensive positions, describing the attack as a major battlefield success. IRGC said, and I quote, "The ground-to-ground missile base of the American child-killing army in Kuwait was destroyed by the fighters of the IRGC ground force. We call upon the noble nation of Iran, in the 4th stage of the retaliatory operation, the fighters of the IRGC's ground forces targeted the ground-to-ground missile base of the American child-killing army in Kuwait and set fire to 2 HIMARS missile platforms and the slums full of missiles and completely destroyed them." Unquote. The IRGC says it will continue launching drone attacks against American military bases across the region, according to Tasnim. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "In response to the repetition of illegal US attacks against our country, a few hours ago and in the new round of drone attacks by the Islamic Republic of Iran Army, the location of American forces, defense and missile systems, bunkers and support sheds of the American terrorist army in Kuwait were targeted by the Army's destructive drone attacks." Unquote. Meanwhile, U.S. Central Command says its latest round of strikes hit dozens of Iranian military targets across multiple locations. U.S. Central Command said, and I quote, "U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, completed a new wave of offensive strikes against Iran, July 12, hitting dozens of targets at multiple locations with precision munitions to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking international shipping flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM forces struck Iranian military air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities, and small boats using U.S. fighter aircraft, naval vessels, one-way attack aerial drones, and one-way attack sea drones for the first time. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital maritime corridor for global trade. Iran does not control it. U.S. forces are postured and prepared to ensure that freedom of navigation remains available to commercial shipping despite Iran's continued unwarranted aggression, harassment, threats, and arbitrary declarations." Unquote. Not just Kuwait and Bahrain, Mujtaba is now unleashing missile fury on Jordan as Iran widens its strikes on U.S. bases in the region. Iran says it has struck U.S. positions in Jordan, claiming Muwafaq Salti Air Base was among the key targets hit. A U.S. base hosting F-15s and F-35s has reportedly come under Iranian ballistic missile fire in the latest round of escalation. Fuel tanks and an ammunition dump at Jordan's Prince Hassan Air Base were reportedly set ablaze in Iran's retaliatory barrage. The IRGC claims a critical FPS strategic radar system at Ahmed al-Jabba base has been knocked out of action. Iran says its missiles have struck a Patriot air defense battery at the U.S. base in Ali Salem, Kuwait. The IRGC boasts that a U.S. drone command center was crushed in its strike on American facilities in Bahrain. Iran claims it has hit a helicopter maintenance hub and a P-8 hangar in Bahrain, escalating its message to Washington. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "Heroic nation of Iran, your steadfast steps, 135 days and nights of presence on the stage an unprecedented funeral in history, which you and the noble nation of Iraq have made, have surprised the world, encouraged the fighters of Islam, and confused and terrified the great Satan, and he is taking every measure to compensate for this great defeat. Last night, following the operations of the IRGC Navy in stopping 2 offending ships, which had endangered shipping in the Strait of Hormuz by turning off their systems and moving on an illegal route, the U.S. child-killing army, which was the driver of these illegal and dangerous movements, once again revealed its brutality by invading the coastal bases of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Zealous fighters of Islam, in the first stage of response to these aggressions, set fire to several large rocket warehouses and fuel tanks of Prince Hassan Air Base in Jordan with rockets and drones. The evil and war-loving regime of America, which has spent a few times without war and military evil since its establishment, and has not learned from the recent failures in facing the fighters of Islam, and continues its aggression. In response to these evils, in the second stage of their countermeasures, the IRGC's aerospace fighters smashed the important helicopter maintenance and repair centers, the hangar of the P-8 electronic warfare aircraft, and the command and control center of the American child-killing army drones at the American base in Sheikh Isa, Bahrain. We bring to the attention of the honorable people of Iran, the proud fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, in the third stage of the retaliatory operation and response to the aggression of the arrogant and aggressive American regime, completely destroyed the fuel tanks and the Patriot air defense system at the American base in Ali Salem, Kuwait, as well as an FPS strategic radar system at the Ahmed al-Jabba base. Strait of Hormuz is our land, and we will not allow a rebel and child-killing army from the other side of the world to continue its illegal interference in it." Unquote.